844-861-5537 is the call-in number, 844-861-5537. And as always, you can use the live chat, which I have right here. And I especially encourage you to use it today because I am so curious about your thoughts pertaining to this topic that we are going to be exploring for the next few minutes. Or maybe even an hour if we have enough time to devote to that topic. But first, hello to Sean McConnell. How are you doing? Good to see you.
I'm good. How are you?
Well, you seem a little frazzled.
I'm drinking coffee.
Well, I'm glad that you're with us, and I really look forward to bringing you into this discussion too, because I know you'll have a lot of opinions about it. You know, right now, obviously, we're in the midst of a political season, but I think that people are so bone tired of politics. That's why I've really tried to make this show not just about politics, but a place where people can come and we can just explore all parts of life together. And I want to bring to you today something that has utterly captured my fascination recently. I was having a discussion a few days ago with Dennis Prager, my co-host on Dennis and Julie, and my bestie. And we were talking about his career, his 40 plus year long career. And he said to me, if there's one thing that over these decades, no matter what I have talked about, if there's one thing that I have tried to do, it has been to warn people about the consequences of secularism. And I thought, wow, that is so interesting that is the through line of every single thing that this guy has said and done, the consequences of secularism. And it made me think about the fact that the country or the culture that we're living in right now is generally one of the first large-scale secular cultures that we have seen in human history. If you think I'm wrong about that and you have an alternative, I very much welcome it. But if you think about the history of human civilization for thousands of years, there were many pagan societies with tribal gods or goddesses or rain or sun gods and goddesses. And then we got into monotheistic religion. Zoroastrianism was the first one. And then there was Judaism. And then, of course, Christianity and Islam. We have Hinduism and Buddhism. But really, over the past 300 to 400 years, we started to see a new era of human civilization, and that is societies that generally do not worship anything, or whose population do not have a shared belief in a higher entity. The United States was the first country to really institutionalize secularism. It is the first secular state in the world. And so right now, what we are in is something that is in many ways unlike anything that we've seen before. But in other ways, I think we still do have a religion. I think that a fundamental part of human nature is that people believe in something. They may think that they don't. They may think that they're atheist, but they actually do. And that's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about how people substitute religion in our secular culture. Are we really that secular of a culture? I don't think so. I think every single day, all around us, we see some very staggering alternatives to traditional religion. And by the way, this makes total sense. If you think about what a human being is, we're corporeal, we're bodily. We need to exercise, we need to eat in order to function or to be healthy. We're also psychological. We need human interaction. We need love. We need a work environment. We need guardrails around us psychologically in order to thrive. But we're also spiritual people. We're spiritual beings. And just as much as we need psychological or bodily nutrients, we need spiritual nutrients. We have to understand where we fit in the scope of the world. And so there's a video that I want to focus today on and some other videos that I found that I think show the alternative that we are seeing right now in America and especially among young people, to traditional religion. This is a clip from, I think, a few weeks ago, and it's Bella Hadid on Drew Barrymore. Let's roll it.
I love crystals! You said something before about being the black sheep. And I think that for me, it was something that growing up, I was always like, I'm the black sheep of the family. So this is a quartz that basically just makes you walk divinely in your path and, know that you are surrounded by angels, by energy, anywhere you go. And if you just walk in your truth, you will always get to your final destination.
I don't know if that's a product of me living in Los Angeles or me growing up in pretty liberal secular cultures, but I see things like this all of the time. I see so many people having crystals, loving crystals. I was actually just walking in Venice the other day, and there are these crystal shops. And especially, as I said, among people my age, this crystal craze, I think, has really come to be one of the substitutes of modern day religion. But it's not just the crystal craze. It's other kinds of practices that, again, if you are especially in my age group, you will totally recognize what I'm talking about. Manifesting, trusting the universe. These are things that people talk about almost on a daily basis in very colloquial conversations. And many of those same people would kind of decry or disparage a belief in God or going to church or belief in the Bible. But this crystal manifesting, trusting the universe in vogue, secular mindset that we have seen really is a substitute for religion, but it's missing some key ingredients. So we're going to be analyzing that today. But first, I want to tell you, I'm trying to think about a good segue. Yeah, it's not really a good segue day for this. Something you should manifest is tying your assets to something physical. Hey, in all seriousness, it's actually a really good time right now to do that, to tie your assets to something physical, something that has worth no matter the economic or global climate. Economists are warning us about massive tax hikes that could hit our IRAs and 401ks hard. With inflation rising and global uncertainty, it's no wonder that central banks and many Americans are turning to gold. If you haven't thought about gold yet, now is the time, and you should consider trusting Priority Gold to help you diversify your savings with gold and silver. Text GOLDEN to 1-800-405-GOLD for a free gold information guide and see if you qualify for free shipping and storage. Experts agree that physical gold is one of the best ways to fortify your savings. Act now to get your portfolio working for you while the market is golden. Text GOLDEN to 1-800-405-GOLD to learn more. That's text GOLDEN to 1-800-405-GOLD. So we're talking about the crystal craze, and I want to play that video one more time for you, the Drew Barrymore, Bella Hadid one. I'm looking over at Sean, and he's smiling. I can tell how excited he is to listen to it one more time. But it's important because on a kind of a first look, it seems like something very helpful. Like you can have this crystal. It can help you channel your divine energy and help you walk along your path. But it's amazing how people wouldn't view that as incredibly religious when literally that is worshiping a crystal. I don't understand how that's any different from any other kind of worship, except that there is a huge component missing. This is such a religious-esque statement, but there's a fundamental core principle that is not being identified. Let's roll it one more time.
I love crystals! You said something before about being the black sheep. And I think that for me, it was something that growing up, I was always like, I'm the black sheep of the family. So this is a quartz that basically just makes you walk divinely in your path and, know that you are surrounded by angels, by energy, anywhere you go. And if you just walk in your truth, you will always get to your final destination.
Damn, I didn't know that life could be so easy. That's really fun. Right, Shanzi? I have to have you cut in because I saw your reaction.
Did she say surrounded by angels?
And energy, yeah.
First of all, have you seen E.T.?
No.
That's where Drew Barrymore comes from for me. Like,
Really?
she's the little girl in E.T. and now she's.
I love crystals. That was such a big reaction. No, it's
Very weird.
very weird.
So the crystal brings angels, not God.
You know, here's the thing.
Crystals.
I look at that and I agree with you that it's weird, but I actually see something in that is really understandable. And it's what I was saying earlier, that we all are spiritual people. We're bodily people, we're psychological people, but we're spiritual people too. And we need some way of understanding spiritual matters. And so I actually have a lot of understanding for that point of view. But here's the fundamental thing that the crystal craze is missing. That in order to achieve the peace or the strength or the wisdom or the understanding that we all endeavor to have as human beings, it requires something of you beyond just rubbing a crystal. It requires you to do something in order to make that happen. And I really appreciate religion because even though I struggle sometimes with belief in God, even though it's very difficult to, some parts of it are very difficult to understand, it really makes it clear that there are certain requirements of you that you have to do in order to have a possibility of getting that thing that you want. And it really is, as I say, a kind of divine life manual. It really helps you navigate. It gives you kind of a toolkit in order to navigate difficult situations in life. This whole idea of turning the other cheek, of loving your neighbor as yourself, of forgiving people, of following a certain set of rules, not stealing, not murdering, not committing adultery, being honest in your relations with people, honoring your parents. You know, these are all things that I'm not saying it makes life easy. Life is very difficult, but it gives you an idea of some of the things that you have to do in order to set your life on the right path. And it seems to make sense that there would be certain requirements of you in life in order to get what it is that you want. Because in every other category of life, we understand that this is true. We understand that if you want to look incredible, if you want to be really toned, you're going to have to go to the gym and squat. You're going to have to actually do some work. We understand this in school. If you want to get good grades or if you want to be smart, you're going to have to read and work hard. So when it's applied to the spiritual realm, it seems to be kind of perplexing that you can just turn to these things like a crystal and not really have to do a lot of heavy lifting or a lot of work in order to get what it is that you want. The world literally just does not work that way. So I want to play another video because, as I said, maybe it's just a product of me growing up in Los Angeles, but I have seen so much of this thing with crystals. And I think people associate crystals with a kind of cosmic energy because crystals are natural and they're so beautiful. And I think that people think like, oh, it evinces a kind of creator, or it evinces a deep beauty and spirituality in the universe to have a natural phenomenon that is so lovely. I completely understand that. I actually think it does evince a beautiful cosmic order of a universe to have something as gorgeous as crystals. But the crystal itself is not going to help as you're going to see in this video, literally wave a magic wand in order to make your life better. It's just a kind of difficult thing to reconcile. I wish life were that easy. But let's play this. This is video 3. This is the magic wand crystal.
Number 3 has to do with a selenite wand. This is one of my favorite crystals to cleanse and clear energy. So what you would do is whenever you're feeling like there's negative energy around you, you're having negative thoughts, or you just feel like you're having very low vibrations, then you want to take a selenite wand and you want to just rub that all over your body. You want to start from your head and you want to go all the way down to your toes and just kind of rub it all over your body from the front. And if you can have somebody do it from the back, that's fine, but you could, do it if you can. Selenite helps to unblock stagnant energy, and it also helps to remove negative energy. And this is a crystal that never needs cleansing. It kind of just cleanses itself.
Again, I'm laughing, but I kind of understand it. I kind of understand this wanting to cleanse yourself, or you're wanting to do this physical action that maybe signifies a new path forward. I mean, that's why people get baptized, for instance. So I'm not decrying some physical measures that one may do to maybe feel more oriented. But again, you notice in that video that this individual is outsourcing the problem. It's essentially do this external thing, wave this magic wand, and the internal problems of negative thoughts or negative energy are all of a sudden going to get better. It just fundamentally doesn't recognize that, again, a lot of these things are internal problems. If you are stagnant in life, that's not something that can be healed by an external measure. That comes from a transformation from within. And I really appreciate the way that this is kind of spelled out in a lot of scriptures. It actually makes so much of what you do in your hands. As much as religion holds that, God is in charge, obviously he is, he's the creator. It so much depends on what you do with yourself. There's this amazing chapter. And again, this is all kind of as I'm exploring religion myself and trying to understand it more, but there's this amazing chapter in the Gospel of Mark that is this parable of farmers throwing out seeds. And the farmer will throw out a seed and it will land on a rock. Another seed will land on a footpath, on a slab of concrete. Another seed will land in weeds. But then another seed will land in fertile soil. And the whole idea is you should try to be the fertile soil to have good things grow out of you. In other words, it comes from you. You have to be the one that receives wisdom and does something of it and allows that thing to grow inside of you and transform you. And so you just look at that and it's very perhaps well-intentioned. It's very understandable, but it's like, where is the accompanying wisdom? Where are you getting any kind of direction? What's your text? What is the authority here? Like, actually with these crystal conversations, it's very difficult for me to understand where this authority comes from. Let's look at this picture. This is picture 2. I found this on Instagram. You just search crystals and there are all these different crystals for various things that you can do or get. For instance, there's that one right in the middle about promoting physical and emotional healing. Boy, I wish my emotional healing could be achieved by rubbing a crystal or putting a crystal in my pocket. Lapis lazuli, we see at the end, promotes spiritual growth and enlightenment, clears mental fog, and improves focus. Like, where is this coming from? Are these individuals trusting the science? I think that there are ways to do these spiritual things, and that's why I say that we're spiritual beings. There are certain things that you can do to emotionally heal or to spiritually grow, but they come from inside of you and they come from accompanying wisdom and direction from a text. It just does not work to turn to a physical external thing as a kind of panacea to solve your internal problems. Well, I have this video prepared that I think I want to play because I think it evinces this very well, where we don't quite understand in our culture how much of your growth you have to do yourself. We very much externalize things. But actually, if we're going down this whole natural, earthy, university path, one of the things that fascinates me is that there seems to be sort of laws of the universe or things that are true in different aspects of life. And many people will call this like a teleological argument for religion. It essentially holds that in the natural world, there are certain rules that we can see are replicated. One such teleological arguer, for instance, would use the reality that in the animal world and in the human world, one man and one woman is required to make a child. That's true of every species, that it's one man and one woman. And a lot of people point to that and they say, well, that is a sort of natural order of the universe argument that generally, by and large, and you can see that many people find this argument to be controversial, but nevertheless it is an argument, that the best possible family unit or the best possible romantic relationship between people is between one man and one woman, because men balance out women and women balance out men. And people go, you can see this all around the animal kingdom, it's replicated. People also point to a kind of regenerative element of the universe, that water has certain cycles, that plant growth has certain cycles, that there are certain regenerative aspects of the universe that you can kind of grow or be reborn or transform yourself in the same way that other things transform. One of those things that I think evinces a teleological point of view of the universe is the fact that doing something, getting to a different place in life, improving yourself really comes from you, not external things, but it comes from you. And I want to show this video, which may seem totally corny, but I'm telling you, it really is incredible when you watch it. We're going to show 2 videos of a butterfly. And interestingly, there are a lot of animal rights experts who get very upset at watching a butterfly break out of I think it's called a chrysalis. Is that what it is? The shell, essentially, that the caterpillar is in, and it's forming itself into a butterfly. There are a lot of animal rights activists who want to tear it and help the butterfly come out, because it's extremely painful, and you'll see that the butterfly is withering around in it because it's extremely painful for the butterfly. But the only way for that to happen is if the butterfly or the caterpillar does it itself. These animal lovers that actually try to tear it and help facilitate the growth, they actually end up killing the caterpillar and the butterfly, because the only way that they can go through it is to do it themselves. And this is a fundamental thing. Again, we see this replicated in the animal world. We see that there's kind of a through line in the universe. And this is just not provided by the whole rub a wand around yourself. You've got to do hard work that only you, not an external thing, can make possible. So let's play video 3 of the caterpillar.
This
You're gonna love it.
is a brimstone. It emerged from an egg a few weeks ago, but now it's ready for a change.
I love BBC. It's so cool.
First, it spins a silken pad, a place to anchor hooks on the rear of its body. In a move to rival a contortionist, it passes strands of silk behind itself, creating a girdle to support it through the change to come. With anchor and line secure, the transformation can take place. Caterpillars are little more than stomachs on legs. But that body has served its purpose and can be discarded.
Look at that.
In favour of another. The caterpillar's head is about to split wide open, and when it does, something very different will emerge.
How cool is that?
A chrysalis. The caterpillar was an eating machine, an identity rolled up like a sock and discarded.
Oh my God, isn't that incredible? And even that whole thing of anchoring yourself, it needs to anchor in order to transform. You have to have something that you are following. Like, if you want to transform yourself, for instance, physically, you need to follow a diet regimen, you need to follow an exercise regimen, you anchor yourself to certain things, and then having those guardrails is what allows you to transform. You can't just rub a wand around yourself. You have to have something, and then you are the one that does the work. Let's show the video. This is I think it's video 4 or video 5 of the butterfly.
I can identify with the caterpillar.
We all can.
I am a stomach with little legs.
Oh God. I thought you were going to say something very deeply spiritual. Go on. Or was that it? Was that your contribution? That was your contribution. Wow. Absolutely excellent.
Oh, I love caterpillars.
I know. You know, she's very expressive on that show. I think she thinks the more energy that she exhibits, the better it's going to be. Like, have you ever seen her with Kamala Harris? When Kamala Harris came on her show, she was like, and she like curled up and was really nodding, getting close to Kamala Harris. I'm like, okay, let's dial it down. Let's dial it down.
The world needs a mamala.
The world does not need a mamala, but the world does need to see the second video. This is so cool, and I'm telling you, I think it's very inspiring. This is the chrysalis, the butterfly coming out of the chrysalis. Video 5. Yes, that one. So nobody can help that thing with the process. They did it, Joe. But doesn't that accord with life? Like, doesn't that totally match up with that? When you have seen yourself be transformed, it really is only work that you yourself had to do. It doesn't mean that sometimes you can't get help or you can't have external things to guide you along the way or help from other people. But really, I love that as a source of symbolism, because you have to go through the stuff yourself in order to get to the outcome that you want. And it just, I don't think it reflects a very intellectually formidable understanding of the way things actually work to outsource that kind of struggle to something as simple as a rock. But yes.
Did you see QC Maverick in the chat?
No.
Hilarious.
What did he say? I can't see it.
Can you see the chat?
I can, but it's a little far away.
He says the better business model would be to also offer the crystal cleansing crystal.
Oh yeah, that's
Then
so
you
true.
could put your crystals on a
thank you.
maintenance plan where you ship them back for full cleaning, so you can receive fully recharged crystals. Big money there.
Yeah, but that's hilarious. I think though that the point though is that this is like a photocopy essentially of some of the things that religion gives you. Like when she's talking about going forth on your path or cleansing yourself, like, okay, there are some things there that I think are true. There are things there that I think we all do. We all kind of look to physical indicators sometimes to help us, or we all want to feel more aligned on our paths. But again, we're missing such a huge part of it, which is the source of wisdom that is supposed to accompany these instructions. Let's play this video on manifesting. You know, to me, the whole crystal stuff is substituting action. This whole manifesting thing, which is a big component of the crystals, you're supposed to manifest with the crystals. I hear people talking about manifesting irrespective of crystals. It sort of reminds me a little bit of praying. That's why I say that religion is alive and well. Listen to this and try to draw a link between this and then how people pray. This is video 6.
When it comes to manifesting with crystals, my favorites are citrine, pyrite, clear quartz, green aventurine. Those are very basic crystals to manifest with, but those are honestly my favorites and I've seen results with them, so I recommend those crystals if you're wanting to manifest. After the meditation, I will write in my journal. I start with what I'm grateful for. I'll list everything that I'm grateful for, even if it's something that I already listed in my last journal entry. I'll write it down again. After the gratitude section in my journal, we'll move into the manifestation part, and I will write what I want to accomplish, what I want to attract, what I will attract. My biggest tip when it comes to manifestation would be to add time constraints to your manifestations. So If you're wanting to attract abundance or find a new job, make sure that you say you will be at a new job or you are at a new job in 3 months' time. I found that adding time constraints kind of speeds up the process and lets the universe know when I need this to happen.
Don't forget my favorite crystal, the like and subscribe crystal.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I know I've said it before, but I kind of like, I just see something. I see something very understandable there. But I think it's very much what she's doing is very similar to prayer. I think we all need this time of reflection. You know, Dennis taught me this because he's such a scholar with Hebrew. He said that the Hebrew word for prayer is to examine yourself. And I think that's very true. I think we all need this time where we're examining our life, what we want, what we hope to get out of life. But I think the main difference is this person is saying, like, write down what you will attract, and not only what you want to attract, but what you will attract. And, you know, essentially figure out this thing that you want and demand to the universe that the universe make it happen. With prayer, when you are praying, you know who you're speaking to. Like, you know the things that you are asking or the things that you are hoping to attract. You know that they have to be in line with what that person or that entity you are speaking to would approve of and what appears to be in accordance with their will. In other words, when you're praying to God, you really can't be like, I want to, I don't know, what would be a good example? Like, I want to find the hottest girl in the world. Please make that happen. Or I want the best salary of anybody in my company. Like, you know the constraints, you know the rules of the game. You know that that is not the kind of entity that you are dealing with. And I just think that's what makes it so different from manifesting, where prayer, you're supposed to be aligning yourself with the truth. You're supposed to be aligning yourself with right behavior and talking with God about the best way or the ways that you hope to see your life align with that justness and with that truth and with that will. Manifesting, it's sort of just like, again, there doesn't seem to be a lot that's required out of you that's hard or that's a sacrifice or something that's morally difficult. And also, it just sort of seems like a laundry list of things that you feel that you're entitled to. And that's just not the way life works. It's just not a sophisticated understanding of how things actually happen. Sean, we were talking about this before the episode about prayer. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I'm curious. How do you see prayer as different than this manifesting?
I just think, these people that believe that you can manifest into your life whatever your heart desires with a crystal are fooling themselves. It reeks of snake oil, and when you pray, when you're obedient to God, there's accountability, there's discipline, there's a crystal's not going to tell you you're a sinner.
Exactly.
So I believe that in the power of positive thinking, and I think there can be some benefit to someone spending time focusing their thoughts. I think they're misguided in who they attribute the benefit of that time spent. Well, if you're attributing it to a crystal or something rather than who created the crystal in the first place.
Well, I like what you said about accountability, because with the whole manifesting thing, where is the accountability? You're saying that you want to attract something and you will attract something. Well, is there anything required of you in order to get what you want to attract? What if you don't get it? What if that's not what's supposed to happen? It's so interesting because I think that many people who are crystal people, who are manifest people, believe in a kind of plan. But sometimes when you're manifesting something very specific, you're overlooking that there may be a different path for you to go. And that's what I think is very freeing about prayer. What's freeing about prayer is that you know that you don't have the answers. You can talk about certain things. You can say, I would really love for this to happen because I want to do XYZ, which I believe is in accordance with what you would want of me, and I believe is helping a lot of people or is the just thing to do, but you're quite literally giving it up. And it allows your life so much more versatility, because maybe manifesting that one guy or that one job or that one thing isn't supposed to be what will happen to you.
Yeah, the God of the Bible doesn't tell you you get everything in life that you desire because you exist.
Oh,
Wait.
wait.
The God of the Bible tells you are born into sin, and you must work at things, and you must seek God to find it. You can't just rub a crystal on your forehead.
You know, I think that's a very astute comment, because I think that there's this understanding nowadays that we have a right to be alive. We have a right to exist. We have a right to get whatever it is that we want out of life. Instead of seeing the fact that we are even here is a gift. We're not entitled to be here. You know, I'm on one on this show with the whole sperm and egg thing. What an incredible miracle it is for people to be here. It's not our birthright to, I mean, I guess it is our birthright to be here, but it's not a given. It's not something that we're entitled to. That's the right word. We're not entitled to be here. And so I think having that kind of humility is a central component. Sean, what you just said, I think leads so well into this next thing. This is the last video that we will play. But again, I'm going through this conversation and endeavoring to break it down, because this has so caught on. And it's amazing that we think that we don't live in a religious society. This is religion. This is faith. This is worship. This is just it's a very like universe. Everything is connected, but not with attached to a moral code, but just sort of this like touchy-feely, literally touch a crystal, feel a crystal, understanding of the way things go. This is a instructional video on asking the universe for things and speaking to the universe. We'll play it until the end. Let's roll it.
It is through the act of asking that you set into motion the forces of creation, aligning circumstances and opportunities to help manifest what you seek. When you ask with confidence and belief, you invite the universe to work with you, paving the way for your dreams to come true.
Okay, pause actually.
The
I'm
act
so
of
sorry.
asking
Pause.
goes...
That's actually not true. When you ask with confidence and belief, you invite the universe to work with you, paving the way for your dreams to come true. You should ask with confidence and belief, but you have to match that with actions. You have to be aligned with the truth and with right conduct in order for the universe to work with you and pave the way for your dreams to come true. It requirements in that sense, like there are things in religion that are required of you in order to get the kind of grace or intercession that God or divine beings grant. But also, I think what's important to note is that the requirements that are asked of you in religion, they first and foremost help you. Good decisions compound on good decisions. Bad decisions compound on bad decisions. If we use the diet and exercise example, I think it's super apt. Anybody knows this who has tried to lose weight and get more fit. If you run and you eat well, those things are going to compound on each other. You're going to get more energy. You're going to be more fit. Then you'll be able to run faster. Then you'll notice that cognitively you're sharper, that you feel better, that you have more energy. It just keeps compounding. Similarly, if you get overweight and you don't exercise, your health starts to decline. It becomes harder to exercise. You don't want to leave your house. Then you start to become sluggish and lazier, and I don't say that disparagingly at all. Literally, like your body is suffering. You do not have the energy to go out and do things. Lazier is not meant in a moral sort of definition, but literally in like a physical definition. You cannot do more things. Then mentally you start to spiral. You're not getting the kind of endorphins that you would get from exercise, the kind of nutrients that you get from good food, and then it affects your mental health. Good compounds on good and bad compounds on bad. And we just don't understand this as a society. And we think just asking, just throwing it up and saying like, hey, this is what I want, that it invites this kind of response just because you're a member of the universe. No, you're a member of the universe and you have to do certain things in order to invite that kind of response, as you do other good things in any other category that you wish to see results in. Okay, let's play the rest of it.
When you ask with confidence and belief, you invite the universe to work with you, paving the way for your dreams to come true. The act of asking goes beyond mere material wants. It encompasses a shift in mindset from scarcity to abundance. By acknowledging your desires and daring to ask, you release self-imposed limitations and tap into the limitless potential that lies within you. You recognize that abundance is your birthright and that you are deserving of all that you desire.
See, that last line is everything. That abundance is your birthright and that you are deserving of all that you desire. I mean, I'm not going to go on too long about it, but I think that it's just very entitled, you know? I mean, look at how many people who suffer so much and for really no reason. But then you think abundance is your birthright and that you deserve to get all that you desire. Most people do not get what they desire. Most people don't get what they deserve. Go ahead.
The biggest problem with that video is that it's self-centered.
Exactly.
That you are the center of the universe, which is not true. And you do have limits, and you are not entitled to all that you desire. Period.
I do think some aspects of it, though, again, you know, I think my photocopy analogy, I hope I said it, is apt, where, you know, if religion is the original, what we're seeing right now are photocopies. We're seeing like the fourth or fifth photocopy, because the more you take photocopies of a document, the less and less it becomes like the original. You know, this whole idea of asking encompasses a shift in mindset. And by acknowledging your desires and daring to ask, you release self-imposed limitations and tap into the limitless potential that lies within you. Sean, you're absolutely right on the limitless thing. I do believe in this idea of releasing self-imposed limitations. That I think is a very valid thing. And that's sort of similar to what you do when you ask things of God or when you have a relationship with God. You're trying to get rid of your self-imposed limitations. But the rest of this is just so much. It's like I don't understand how people can think that this just comes to you, that there are no rules or set of behavior that's rewarded to you. It's literally just like ask and everything will happen for you. You deserve to have that happen to you. Like, what are the rules here? What are the terms and conditions of this agreement? Just by your existence in the universe doesn't mean that everything comes true to for you, or that you deserve to have it come true. And it's really sad too, because I think the thing about that scriptures is so makes so powerful is it gives you role models. It gives you people to really look up to. Like, I have to tell you, one of my favorite parts of what I've learned about Christianity, and something I never really understood when I was secular, is that Christianity elevates people who are wayward and have transformed themselves. This is a staggering thing. Outside of St. Peter's in the Vatican, you've got St. Peter on the left and St. Paul on the right. St. Peter betrayed Christ 3 times. When the Roman authorities, as it goes in the scripture, arrested Christ, they asked him, "Are you one of his apostles? Do you know this man?" And he said, "No, I do not." One time. Asked again, "No, I do not." A second time, "No, I do not." A third time. And because he cried and he repented eventually, he was brought back into grace and good favor. And he was elevated as the person who Christ handed over the keys to carry on the church, to carry on his mission on earth. It's an incredible thing. With St. Paul was a Pharisee. He was a Christian persecutor. He literally would go around and persecute Christians. And one time he had his road to Damascus moment. He was walking on the road to Damascus, and God appeared in front of him, and he turned his life around, and he ended up becoming a saint, a proselytizer, someone who was kind to Christians, who built Christian societies. And this stuff is so devoid of those amazing stories. It's so, when they talk about the potential that lies within you, the only way that you as a human being can really understand the potential that lies within you is by looking at role models and seeing other examples of people who have transformed themselves, who have triumphed over adversity, who have elevated, themselves beyond what their circumstances would dictate. How do these trust the universe thing? It doesn't provide any kind of scaffolding. And so I think it renders a lot of people so lost. And as I've said so many times in this episode, I really understand the underlying part of it. There are things that are connected. There are things that kind of work. When you do get aligned, I've seen this happen with people. I've seen people really take their faith life seriously, take their health seriously, take their actions and purifying their thoughts and purifying their conduct towards people seriously. And I have seen it work out for them. A lot of these things have some wisdom, but without the basis, the thing that outlines all the guardrails, it's really just sending people down a lost road.
You did an interview a while back with Alistair Begg.
Oh yeah, that was incredible.
And he put it beautifully. He said everyone has a God-sized hole.
Yeah.
And what are you going to fill it with? Crystals?
Well, according to many modern people, they would. But I want to end by saying that if there's one thing to maybe get out of this conversation, it's that anytime, if you are a believing person, you encounter someone who doesn't believe, maybe ask more about any kind of universe-centered things that they do in their life. I bet a lot of people who are atheists have a kind of substitute for it. And it's just amazing that as a culture, we don't laugh. Well, we do, but a lot of people wouldn't laugh at the Drew Barrymore and the whole crystal thing. They wouldn't laugh at the manifesting thing, but then they would laugh at God. They would laugh at people who go to church. They would laugh at people who pray. They would laugh at people who believe in Jesus, or who believe in that Moses had the 10 Commandments revealed to him, or that the Red Sea was parted. Those are crazy things. But then holding a crystal or rubbing a crystal around you to cleanse yourself of negative energy, that's completely fine. It's just a double standard. And again, truly, I don't mean to decry people who practice this. I think we're all yearning for something greater than ourselves. But you heard me. Don't think it's exactly the right way to do it. Somebody's asking if I'm reading the chat. Yeah, I'm reading the chat. Interesting. This manifesting thing reminds me of the placebo effect. I think that's a very astute comment. That's very true. And there's an element to that I think is important. I think you do have to believe that you will get, or you have a good shot at getting, the outcome that you desire. But I think you also need to be serious with yourself about the things that are required of you in order to get that. But speaking of getting things, I want to end by telling you about some pillows, some slippers, some towels, some things that you can get without very much work besides using a promo code. Right now, My Pillow is having a discount sale, and they're bringing you the most requested offer ever. You can get the queen size premium My Pillow for only $19.98. It's made with a patented adjustable fill that adjusts to your exact individual needs regardless of your sleep position. It helps keep your neck aligned and holds its shape all night long so that you can get the best sleep of your life. But that's not all. You can get their 6-piece kitchen or bath towel sets for only $25. The brand new mattress top topper for as low as $69.98, and their famous MyPillow bed sheets for as low as $25. Just go to mypillow.com or call 1-800-566-6745 and use the promo code Hartman. Again, you can get big discounts on all of their products, including the premium queen size MyPillow for only $19.98. That is their lowest price ever. Don't delay. Order today and use the promo code Hartman at checkout. I will see you all tomorrow live at 1 o'clock Pacific, 4 o'clock Eastern. Please email me with what you thought of this episode, and I'd be so curious to talk about it with you over email or even do a follow-up in subsequent episodes. Take care, everyone. I'll see you soon.